September 9th, 1999, 9:09 AM. A French electronic music duo consisting of Thomas Bangalter and Guy Manuel would experience a horrific accident after a malfunction occurred with their sampler whilst wiring up equipment. The two would be left horrifically disfigured, but still just about alive. We were just making music in the studio, when suddenly there was a flash. It is not something that can easily be explained. It was not like an explosion, but there were lights, and gold and silver powder was everywhere. When we finally woke up, the silver and gold powder had become our robot faces. We do not know exactly what happened, because when we woke up, we were just robots. This would lead to the birth of their robot personas, and following the release of their second studio album Discovery, the beginning of Daft Punk as we widely know them today. Their robotic identity, both a clever tactic to keep their personal lives separate from their fame, something that many DJs would follow suit with the likes of deadmau5 and Marshmello, but also creating this new exploration of humanity through their creative works, posing a simple yet complex question. What is human?
We are human. After all, nothing common. After all.
What is human? A question as old as time. One with countless answers, conclusions, and ideas, yet ultimately boiled down to be human is to be a member of Homo genus. Physically, sure. From a scientific standpoint, that definition holds. But in practice, humanity seems to be less about biology and more about a constructed ideal, one defined by social norms, expectations, and an invisible set of criteria that dictates who fits in and who does not. To be human in the eyes of society often means conforming to a selection of boxes, the way one speaks, acts, looks, even thinks. Those who deviate too far from these unwritten rules risk alienation, as if their very humanity is being called into question. In this sense, being human is not just a matter of genetics, but a matter of perception, something granted or withheld based on how well one aligns with the predetermined mold. Daft Punk's exploration of humanity through their robot personas perfectly encapsulates this strange paradox. By adopting the guise of machines, they ironically revealed the deeply constructed nature of what it means to be human. Their music, infused with themes of love, longing, nostalgia, and connection, suggests that humanity is not defined by biology, but by emotion, experience, and perception. Their albums Discovery, Human After All, Random Access Memories all blur the line between artificial and organic, questioning whether the soul of a being is determined by flesh or feeling. In embracing robotic alter egos, Daft Punk highlighted how humanity itself is just an elaborate performance, one that requires blind adherence to social expectations to be recognized as real. Their work suggests that if a pair of robots can create something that moves people, inspires them, and makes them feel alive, then perhaps humanity is not an inherent state, but a role that one plays, a set of signals that others must interpret and accept. Daft Punk would take this concept even further in 2006 with their film Electroma, a nearly wordless odyssey following two robots on a futile quest to become human. Through stunning visuals and a melancholic atmosphere, the film portrays their protagonists' desperate attempts to conform to the concepts of humanity, donning artificial human masks that ultimately melt away, symbolizing the impossibility of forcing oneself into an identity that isn't truly theirs. The film's tragic ending, where both robots face oblivion rather than achieve humanity, underscores the idea that being human is not just about appearance or imitation, but about social acceptance and emotional recognition. Electroma critiques the rigid structures that define humanity as something exclusive, something granted to only those who fit within the predetermined limits. In this way, the film reinforces Daft Punk's larger artistic message of how humanity is not a biological state, but a societal construct, one that is fragile, elusive, and, for some, forever out of reach. If you view Daft Punk's work as more than just fiction, instead seeing it as an artistic outlet for their perspective on humanity, this reoccurring motif becomes evident across their entire career, even before Electroma. Their 2003 animated film, Interstellar 5555, The Story of the Secret Star System, arguably my favourite film of all time, serves as another critique of societal structures, this time focusing on the music industry's exploitation and conformity. The film follows an alien band that is kidnapped, brainwashed, and physically altered to appear human, all for the sake of becoming global superstars on Earth. Under the control of the sinister Earl D. Darkwood, the band loses their individuality. Their past erased in favour of marketable images that appeal to humanity. As the story unfolds, the characters struggle to reclaim their true identities, paralleling the way artists often have to battle against the industry's pressure to conform. The film suggests that the pursuit of success can strip away authenticity, turning individuals into manufactured products rather than expressive beings. Through Interstellar, Daft Punk critiques a world where humanity, both in art and identity, is something to be commodified, reinforcing their belief that the concept of being human is as much about perception and control as it is about existence itself. And even earlier than Interstellar, in many ways their debut 1997 album Homework even foreshadowed the duo's eventual shift to robotic figures, by focusing on the idea of individuality and social estrangement. Tracks like Defunct and Around the World hit at the repetitive mechanical nature of modern existence. These tracks, with their looped bass lines and robotic rhythms, already presented a sense of detachment from human emotion, echoing the dehumanizing qualities that would emerge in later albums. The music video for Daft Punk, in particular, shows a character who is physically alienated from the world around him, depicted through this awesome prosthetic dog head. He moves through the city, experiencing an unsettling disconnect from other people, much like the feelings of estrangement and isolation that Daft Punk would later explore in their work post-robotization. The video's emphasis on the discomfort of the humanoid dog, who is unable to communicate and unable to integrate, echoes the duo's later shift to their robotic alter egos, where they explore similar ideas of identity through their artificial personas. In this sense, Homework didn't just introduce a new style of house music, but also set the stage for Daft Punk's future explorations of the human-machine divide. Back to post-robot transformation. Another example of these developing motifs of humanity is their 2005 album Human After All, which serves as a raw, almost cynical reflection on the themes of conformity, repetition, and the blurred line between human and machine. Compared to their previous work, this album is stripped down and abrasive, built on looping mechanical riffs that feel cold and relentless. Tracks like Robot Rock and The Prime Time of Your Life emphasize the monotonous, almost dehumanizing nature of modern life, while Technologic bombards the listener with an endless stream of commands, reflecting society's obsession with consumerism and automation. The album's title itself feels ironic, too. Rather than celebrating humanity, Human After All suggests that people, much like robots, are programmed by their environment, stuck in cycles of routine and expectation. This dystopian outlook makes Human After All a fitting prelude to Electroma, as both works explore the struggle of individuality in a world that demands uniformity. For example, Electroma has a particularly haunting scene where the two robotic protagonists undergo a painful transformation in an attempt to assimilate. After entering a sterile clinical facility, they are fitted with artificial masks, resembling uncanny, emotionless replicas of human faces. The scene of their transformation alone is enough to make the audience uncomfortable, with its eerie ambience, lingering shots, and abnormal imagery. Upon completing their transformation, they emerge into society, where they immediately stand out, their presence unsettling despite their efforts to blend in. The people around them, all identical robots, reject them, not for being mechanical, but for being different. This moment captures the painful reality of social alienation, imitating the belief that humanity is not enough. One must conform to an accepted mold to truly fit in. When their masks begin to melt under the heat of the sun, their fragile illusion of humanity literally and figuratively disintegrates, symbolizing the futility of forcing oneself into an identity that isn't real. No matter how much they try, they can never truly belong. And the film's devastating ending further reinforces this existential struggle. After their failed attempt at integration, the two robots find themselves alone in a barren desert. With no path forward, one ultimately asks the other to activate its self-destruct sequence, a silent yet heartbreaking plea for release from the hopelessness of their journey. The lone survivor, now truly isolated, eventually also self-destructs, choosing oblivion over a meaningless existence. Their deaths serve as a bleak but powerful statement. If humanity is defined by perception and acceptance, then are those who are denied recognition, those who can't fit into society's rigid framework, doomed to be erased, whether metaphorically or literally? Through this, Electroma suggests that the struggle to be seen as human is not just about appearance, but about the willingness of others to grant that recognition, an idea that goes on to echo throughout Daft Punk's entire body of work. In 2013, the duo would release their final studio album, Random Access Memories, offering a striking contrast to the cold metallic tone of Human After All and Electroma, yet still grappling with the same core questions of what it means to be human. Rather than depicting a dystopian struggle against conformity, Random Access Memories seems to reclaim the organic, emotional essence of humanity through music itself, similarly to how the alien band brought joy and emotion to their home planet in Interstellar. By moving away from the programmed loops and embracing live instrumentation, the album feels like a deliberate rebellion against automation, an effort to reconnect with the soul of artistic expression in an era dominated by digital precision. Songs like Touch and Instant Crush evoke a deep nostalgia, longing, and fragility, reminding us that humanity is not defined by perfection, but by emotion and imperfection. A song from this record that has always stuck with me on a personal level is the song Within. It beautifully captures the introspective themes of the album, particularly the internal struggle between emotion and the constraints of expectations. With its haunting reflective lyrics sung by Panda Bear, the track explores the feeling of being trapped inside one's own mind, struggling to reconcile the human desire for connection with the limitations imposed by society or one's own identity.
There are so many things that I don't understand. There's a world within me that I cannot explain.
The song's lyrics go on to suggest that the key to unlocking one's humanity lies in embracing vulnerability and connection, yet the melancholic tone of the track reveals the pain and isolation that accompanies this pursuit.
I've been for some time looking for someone. I need to know now. Please tell me who I am.
Musically, Within contrasts with the mechanical nature of Daft Punk's previous work, with its gentle, almost melancholic instrumentation, blending warmth and fragility. It serves as a meditation on the emotional depth of the human experience, reflecting the album's larger theme of reclaiming the organic and imperfect aspects of life in a world dominated by technology and conformity. In this way, Within exemplifies Daft Punk's desire to reconnect with the emotional core of humanity, acknowledging that while, yes, we may sometimes feel trapped within ourselves, the path to freedom and understanding lies in embracing that complexity. Overall, I think Ram is a very fitting send-off for the Robots as their final album. The recurring motif of memory implied by the album's title further suggests that our humanity is shaped by our experiences, our connections, and the moments that linger in our minds, rather than by any rigid societal definition. Even the closing track, Contact, with its climactic, distorted finale, feels like the duo questioning whether humanity and technology can ever truly coexist. In the context of their entire body of work, Random Access Memories feels like Daft Punk's final, bittersweet answer to their long-running exploration. To be human is not to fit a predefined mold, but to create, to feel, and to remember.
Well, it's the first album we're making as robots, so I don't think it's completely robot music, but it's true that it's really now the mix between the computer systems and the new chip we have in our brain, mixed also with the fact that we still have a heart and a heartbeat. So I guess it mixes the machine and the human side of what we are.
Make it.